Donald Trump's nominee to be the nation's top intelligence official has little experience when it comes to intelligence matters. But the president defended Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe while speaking to reporters Thursday.
Congressman Ratcliffe is an outstanding man, and I'm sure that he'll be able to do very well. I think he's just outstanding, highly respected by everybody that knows him.
Ratcliffe is the newest member of the House Intelligence Committee, having only joined 6 months ago. But he's been one of the president's fiercest defenders in the role, as we saw during the Mueller hearings last week.
Can you give me an example other than Donald Trump where the Justice Department determined that an investigated person was not exonerated because their innocence was not conclusively determined?
I cannot, but this is a unique situation.
Well, you can't. Time is short. I've got 5 minutes. Let's just leave it at you can't find it, because I'll tell you why. It doesn't exist. I agree with the chairman this morning when he said Donald Trump is not above the law. He's not. But he damn sure shouldn't be below the law, which is where Volume 2 of this report puts him.
But Ratcliffe appears to have less of an appetite for the day-to-day work of intelligence oversight, according to public records, committee members and other officials familiar with Ratcliffe's work. Olivia Gazis covers intelligence and national security for CBS News and has this new reporting on Ratcliffe. Hi, Olivia. So the Director of National Intelligence is a role that requires, quote, extensive national security expertise. What are some of the key concerns with Ratcliffe on this front?
Right, Tanya, you said it correctly, because that's the description that's actually laid out by the statute that created this role after 9/11, which is why there's been such intense scrutiny of Ratcliffe's qualifications for it. So I was interested in what kind of experience he had accumulated since being appointed 6 months ago to the House Intelligence Committee. And so I looked at the committee's open hearing, public records, spoke to a number of current and former officials who work with him, and talked to intelligence officials who know what it takes to do this job. And what I found is that Ratcliffe's engagement with the substance of intelligence oversight in that brief period has been somewhat modest. His office told me that he had visited at least the CIA, National Security Agency, and Office of the Director of National Intelligence, his potential future workplace, but I couldn't confirm that those visits had happened in an oversight capacity since he had joined the committee in the past 6 months. He's done at least one overseas congressional delegation called a CODEL to meet with people on the ground and learn about their work. But again, it wasn't with the Intelligence Committee, it was with congressional leadership. A source actually told me that he hadn't done any of these overseas trips to really learn about the work of intelligence itself. So as a sort of prosecutor on the political side of the Russia investigation in particular, he has absolutely been, a standout and a mainstay, obviously caught the eye of the president. He's aggressively questioned witnesses, including the former special counsel, Robert Mueller, about that probe. But when it came to engaging during this committee's open hearings with issues like China, artificial intelligence, even diversity within the intelligence community, he was either absent or silent for those open hearings. They're an imperfect measurement of his engagement, but those are definitely issues that he's going to need to be well-versed in order to be successful as DNI.
Absolutely, Olivia. And it's not just Democrats who seem wary of his lack of experience. Here's what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say about his qualifications earlier this week.
I haven't met him yet. I look forward to meeting with him. We'll go through the confirmation process, and generally speaking, I would, lean toward the president's nominees, and I'd rather not address that until I've actually had a chance to meet him and discuss his background and qualifications.
Pretty tepid there. So should the president be concerned about Ratcliffe's chances of confirmation?
Right. That wasn't really a ringing endorsement, but it may be a little bit too soon to tell. What I actually report in the piece is that the White House itself hasn't yet completed its vetting of Ratcliffe, which may be why there hasn't been a formal nomination issued yet. And as you just showed there, a lot of lawmakers have come out to say, don't know the guy. I look forward to meeting him. And that includes, obviously, Mitch McConnell, but also Richard Burr and Mark Warner, who lead the Senate Intelligence Committee. And that's, of course, the committee that's going to be reviewing his candidacy first. What the people that I spoke to said was that Ratcliffe really does have a lot of natural ability. He's very smart, he's hardworking, he's shown up and he's done his homework on the Intelligence Committee. He just hasn't been there that long, and it takes a long time, literally, to learn the acronyms. You know, one Democrat member described it to me as, you know, quote unquote, butt time that you spend sitting in a reading room or in a briefing room with classified or sensitive documents that you can't take out of there, and just learning about all of the work that these 17 agencies that make up the community do. Ratcliffe can, of course, spend all summer cramming, but it's something of an uphill climb to accumulate the experience that some of his predecessors have had by the decade.
Right, some of that, there's no shortcuts to getting there. Now, so, Olivia, what are you hearing from inside the intelligence community?
Again, that this is somebody that they will need to get to know, just as he will need to get to know them if his nomination goes through. We need to keep in mind that the DNI is considered the #1 intelligence official in the country, but he, or maybe she someday, will need to navigate the personalities and the politics of all of the heads of these 16 agencies. And beyond that, the DNI has to engage with the president and his staff. Beyond that, has to engage with Congress when it makes demands. Beyond that, engage with the international allies who share intelligence with the United States. So it is just an immense job, and the trepidation about this pick seems to stem a lot from what little is known publicly about Ratcliffe and also how little he may know about them. Just to sum it up, one Democrat member from the Intelligence Committee put it to me this way: you're not going to ask a guy with 6 months of experience to run a hospital, and I promise you that running the intelligence community is a hell of a lot more complicated than running a hospital.
That's right. It's a huge job with huge responsibilities. All right, Olivia Gazis, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tanya.